All right. 3 for Uber. Definitely.
I think we all went
pretty
with
clear.
play-by-play casters, which is I feel like semi-unfortunate. I feel like Monty definitely deserves a nod. The how quickly he picked up the game is actually insane. And I'm not saying he has like the most deep, earth-shattering pro level analysis, but he breaks down relatively complex aspects of what's happening in front of you in a way that like any viewer could understand at a drop of a hat. So yeah, I think Monty definitely deserves a shout out as well.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. I mean, Monty's getting tons of love right now. But he did, but they didn't start until midway through the year. So that the full year, a look at the full year has a lot to do with at least my pick for it. All right, next up, let's see. Play of the year. Okay. So this is should probably done match of the year first, but oh well, we'll do play of the year first. Okay, let's have Jason, let's have you go first this time.
Great. Yeah, awesome.
I guess you weren't ready for this one. Yeah.
Because it's just you see so many plays. I mean, I could think of I guess 2 in particular.
I mean, if it takes you time to have to try to remember them, then they weren't play of the year for you, right? Like
no, it's more of like figuring out which one is the one.
Yeah.
Like there's 2 where Mickie on Eichenwalde with the self-destruct against Rogue was pretty good.
God, yeah.
Probably like a key thing. But also, I don't know, because I'm gonna sound like a fanboy, but seeing Tuvik on King's Row against Takai in the finals of APAC, when he like 1v1 Rouge Hong, which gave them inevitably the win on the map, because he was able to take that Ana out 1v1 and then to just walk all over them by outpicking them and outplaying them, probably had to be the play for me.
Okay, so Tuvik on APAC, right?
Farah versus Takai, yeah.
APAC, that was finals, right?
Yep.
Okay, Tuvik APAC finals. That's definitely great. And that was pivotal too. Arguably, if he doesn't win, doesn't actually win a few of those skirmishes, they lose the entire match. So they were super pivotal. Ben.
This one's. I wanted to at first just go straight to Zunba's Graviton in Overwatch World Cup. Or wait, not Zunba. Wait, who was playing? I don't even remember. The Graviton that came through in Eichenwald that came through the top window.
Just at the gate. Yeah.
I feel like I can't choose it though, because in terms of how difficult it is to execute, like it was, they used a great Graviton, well placed. They put Nano Boost on a Gyeonggi. Gyeonggi pulled his blade out. Great synergy. I wanted to pick it because it was so surprising at the time, just how effortlessly it appeared that they just pushed straight through. First of all, not a lot of people even knew that you could go through the window at the time. So out comes Azaria, surprise, surprise, like really interesting positioning for Azaria to come just from an angle you wouldn't expect at all. But in the end, I feel like it didn't show, it wasn't like the highest level of skill that you could have at a play. So I at first I chose that, but I actually kind of want to go back and go to Taimu's Roadhog play that went hyper viral. Basically, is one of like the sickest individual plays that exhibits the most individual skill that you'll see, and just great decision making as well. Where Taimu on Hollywood drops down, gets a hook, pulls out his ult, gets several kills, finishes it with another hook. Basically, gets 4 kills like on his own. So I guess I'll have to go with Taimu. I think it was Apex.
Yeah, I think so too.
And the Apex, was it the finals? Yeah, I think it was the finals.
Apex finals, yeah. Okay, so Taimu to okay. Well, for me, it was the one that you're referring to, actually, the US versus Korea match in Eichenwald, just that Zarya play. I mean, that was probably the play of the tournament for me, even though there were some great matches and great, especially between like Finland and Sweden. But for me, most of the audience, I think a lot of people, at least that were watching BlizzCon, are hyped about the U.S. team. Had a lot to do with the team members, and after getting smashed in one of the matches, I think it was second, right? This match, just having them, succeeding or feeling like they were making some progress against the Korean teams who were just the giant favorites, and then just having it just just completely stuffed at that moment from, you know, a very unexpected play with the Zarya coming down, and then, you know, obviously the ult, and then the Genji finishing up with the finish of the emote too. I don't know, for me it's just the most memorable, one of the most memorable plays the entire year, and yeah, has to have to be the pick for me. Flame?
I'll go with Soon on Tracer, on Li Zhang. I don't remember who it was against, but it was during the finals of E-League.
Oh, E-League. Oh, that's a different one. E-League.
I just remember him dumpstering like 3 or 4 people by himself and like hit a crazy pulse bomb, and he was like winning 1v1s the entire tournament on LAN. I don't know. I thought he had like the biggest impressive series of plays throughout that map in particular.
Let me see who they were playing.
I forget who it was though.
Looks like they were playing. Was it
I want to say it was,
or was it Rogue? Actually, I think they might have been playing.
I think it was Rogue.
Right? Yeah,
I think it was
they might have
Rogue.
been playing Rogue. Yeah, definitely that tournament and the most recent tournament. I feel like Soon was. Those are the two events. I just like Soon was just so prevalent, and like, how can this guy not be one of the best tracers in the world? You know, that type of thing. Like, just in that discussion whenever you watch him. Okay, so that was Misfits vs. Rogue, right? Soon.
Yeah.
All right, good job. Or at least see E-League here. At least get this on here. Okay, cool. All right, why don't we talk about match of the year? Which had lots of different matches. I don't know if they're gonna overlap with play of the year, but Flame, you want to start this one?
Match of the year.
Yeah, lots of good ones.
I'll say NV Rogue at Apex just because of the shit talk and like the upset potential.
Wow. Apex or Apex, right?
Yeah.
Apex.
That was Apex.
Wow. Okay.
Where they like called them out. They're like, "Oh, time or what was it? It was like someone's having visa issues."
Well, they picked them. They picked to play them. So, I mean, I guess it starts off with that first, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
it created the hype, and then they shit talked each other on Twitter a little bit, and then Tivik got slammed by Taimu, and then they won Apex. I thought that was like the match of the year, I think.
Okay. Ben?
For me, it goes back to the Atlantic Showdown when EnVy lost. The streak was ended.
Yeah.
I mean, Jason and I had the pleasure of casting that event, which had a ton of really sick matches, actually. Basically, every match that Rogue played towards the end of the tournament was insanely sick. But that one was really notable to me, not just because it was an incredibly close, exciting game. It went 2-2, and then I think it ended on a King of the Hill that was also 2-2. It was just down to the last possible seconds. But because the entire storyline going into that tournament, which was really the first super big tournament in competitive Overwatch after the game came out, the whole storyline was like, can anyone possibly beat EnVyUS? And no one thought anyone could at the time. Like, EnVyUS was basically untouchable. So the fact that Rogue ended up coming out and winning that set, moving on to the grand finals, eliminating EnVyUS, was just incredible, and no one expected it. Like, I don't know how, it's like, it's really hard to overstate how dominant EnVyUS were at the time. Like, no one thought that they were going to lose in that tournament. I mean, after the tournament, everyone's like, well, they never played Europe on LAN, so you know, all the Europeans were like, of course Europe won, ha ha ha. But I don't know. For me, at least, I think that was one of the biggest surprises and most entertaining matches as well.
I don't even remember what the streak was at the time. It was a lot of matches in a row they'd won. 57. There you go. Yeah, 57. So
not including the Atlantic Showdown games.
Yeah. I guess I'll go next. For me, it's the same. It's the exact same match. It's between EnVyUS and Rogue. I think maybe second place would go to, I don't know, that FaZe Fnatic match like that happened, you know, a couple of weeks ago was pretty amazing too. But yeah, I think the moment, just ending the streak, I think, you know, just really cementing Rogue as the, you know, arguably the top two teams. I mean, everybody's saying Rogue's the best at this point, but you know, of course, they hadn't won. They just had won this one LAN compared to, you know, like EnVyUS winning many matches in a row. But I think that match was what really solidified Rogue as like one of the top teams in Overwatch. And I think a lot of those matches, it was like tons of overtime too, if I remember correctly. It wasn't just going into, just a tiebreaker. I think each of the maps had like some epic overtimes too. So yeah, overall, I think that was a really good one. Second place would probably go to, I think that FaZe Fnatic match, I believe, was like super good too. But yeah, that's my pick. Jason?
Same.
Yeah.
I like Showdown. EnVyUS just Rogue, but I want to give an honorable mention to the Cloud9 versus Reunited in the Overkill League, where it went the full distance between those two teams, and that's where I guess the accusations came out for sure for.
Oh gosh.
But that was a pretty good series as well.
Okay. I don't remember that one. Jeez. Okay.
It was something like 4-3, or like it went all the way. It was pretty insane.
Now we've had some amazing matches this year. Like I feel like every tournament has a round or at least one match that's just crazy epic, and you can talk about it for days. All right, next category we've got. Let's see. Well, Overwatch obviously had a lot of animated shorts this year. So, what's your favorite animated short? We've had, I don't know how many we've had. We've had probably like 8 of them, I believe, or seven of them. So yeah, any of your favorites? We'll start with Jason. What's your favorite?
The Bastion.
All right.
The Bastion one.
Okay.
It was really sad. It was really cool though, and you learn quite a bit more about Bastion and like where his emotes came from and him in general, and about what happened like during the war. Definitely.
Yeah. All right. So the last Bastion for Jason. Flame, your pick?
Probably when Montana got 360 no scope by Widowmaker. That was a good one.
Yep, that was a good one. That was the, gosh, I'm trying to remember all
beginning of the Omnic Crisis.
Yeah, that was
And all the bots revolted.
Alive, right? That's what it's called. Yeah. That's an awesome one. For me, Dragons. I'm just a sucker for, just the whole ninja dragons and all that. Just that whole kind of theme and storyline. I just love it. And I mean, I think the very end scene is just amazing. It's like what I dream about when I'm thinking about, I don't know, anything from anime to kung fu type of movies or content or TV shows that I want to see. It's that type of conflict or battle at the end. Ben?
The inner weeb in me wants to go with you on Dragons, but I feel like the Bastion short tugged at my heartstrings and showed more plot than any other. So for action and cool shit, Dragons, I think easily is the coolest. But I enjoyed Bastion. I enjoyed the last Bastion the most.
Yeah, last Bastion I think was the most like cinematic one. The one that you could actually see in a movie theater, very Pixar-like. And potentially what we could see in the future, if they end up making an Overwatch movie. I think it would do awesome. I think an Overwatch movie would do well if it's at that kind of quality. It's crazy good.
I mean, that one was more or less like a PTSD awareness video.
Well, that too.
Like they could have put like a whatever at the end, like a, I don't know what the word is.
You mean
like an ad
PSA
for a
type
PTSD
of,
rehab center, and it would have made sense, I think.
God. All right. Last one that we have, unless we come up with some others after this. Drama of the year. We gotta have a little bit of drama. We've been talking about just like serious stuff the entire time, but Overwatch is only roughly, I don't know, 6 months old now, 7 months old. The beta's obviously longer than that, maybe just over a year, but we've had our share of drama with the Buttgate and obviously some accusations and all kinds of things. So yeah, what's your drama of the year? We'll have
accusations. I was just started.
All right, accusations. All right, accusations. Okay.
Sorry, but sure for all the drama around that. Then Taimu, all the drama around that. Yep. I mean, Ben's shaking his head, but I mean, it was a very pitchforky time of the year for everyone in the Overwatch community. Yeah, I mean, we even saw a team get dropped from a very large team brand, TSM. Thankfully, they got picked up by Call, or Complexity. But we did see ramifications from these, pitchforks that did happen. And, I think talking about how, the results of this, or at least, none of them have actually
been confirmed of ever hacking. B, I don't think is anybody really questioning it at this point after them being at so many lands at this point. And
the big thing was the fact that Blizzard literally looked at those players. Like, this is like one of the first times I've seen like a game publisher actually look at certain players to see if they were cheating. Like, even Valve in the majors, they don't really put out anything about that until it's like time. And then even then, they don't manually go search it themselves, I don't think. But to have them actually look at the clips and try to analyze, like talking with the designers of the game to see if that's possible, to see if it's just spectator mode or whatnot, to actually invest into that was really cool to see. Like, that kind of like was the cherry on the top of the drama for me. The fact that they actually wanted to see if they were cheating or not, and then obviously take action if they were.
Yeah, and talking about it after all this, and during that time, we did, I don't know how many shows, Ben, we talked about accusations, and just like we are saying, like, innocent people proven guilty. No, pitchforking is a terrible thing, so you just kind of wait, and Blizzard have Blizzard look at it. I just want to make sure everybody's clear on this, and we're looking at it now. Clearly, they weren't hacking. I mean, clearly they are great players. I mean, we've seen them now all at lands. I mean, we're all revering them all the time now, at these tournaments and making great plays. So I just want to make sure we, that whole bit is completely done with for good, and there's just a closed chapter on all that crap, because like I said, it can be potentially very devastating to players. So, to the community, gotta hold off. You gotta hold off until, again, Blizzard goes in, investigates it. If they come out and say they were cheating, then, you can say whatever you want. But before that, it's pretty tough.
I mean, the whole thing was Blizzard's fault, let's be real. Like, forget the accusations. They were like, we were watching like 15-tick demos on like 100 ping matches, and they were like smoothing the aim, and people's mouses were teleporting. Like, you haven't seen a clip like that since the game came out. So while it was drama, it was pretty much like you could blame it all on the game engine. Like, after the patch after Christmas last year, I don't think it ever came back. Like, no one's ever seen a mouse teleporting since then.
Okay, but, so you think it's more of a technical thing that?
Yeah, and back to the TSM thing, like the TJO brothers have like multiple legitimate SIVO and ESEA bans.
They do.
Like, that's why they're not getting picked up, not because of the accusations. But I think my favorite drama of the year was EnVyUS's roster on the whole. Like, just EnVyUS, like just straight up team EnVyUS. Like, you had the Thaimu incident, you had Tailspin just not getting on his plane back to Korea, you had Mickie showing up and just being like the funniest person in the world, you had them playing Jenga like the wrong way for some reason on camera.
Not drama, please. I mean,
it was like, you could make a TV series out of EnVyUS's roster and it would have been watchable. I think it would have been a good drama.
Okay.
I mean, Tailspin leaving the way he did and like putting out that stupid statement about how Taimu has good aim was pretty funny, and then they win Apex without him. Like, I thought that, like, that's a good drama.
Yeah, that's legitimate drama there.
I'd watch it.
I'll give you that one. I definitely give you the Tailspin leaving one. Okay, Ben?
I honestly, this is tough, because for me, the accusation one hits home, because the entire time that Reddit was completely and utterly convinced that multiple top pros were blatantly hacking. I'm like, guys, you are so dumb. You don't know how this works. These are demos. These are spectator modes. All these reasons. You're not pro gamers. You don't understand. It's very vindicating now for months and months and months of online and LAN play kind of disproving that. And I'm so glad to have that disproved, because there was honestly a period where I would say thousands and thousands, if not tens of thousands of people, maybe even hundreds of thousands of people, if you look at the YouTube videos that were like proof that Surefour and Taimu are hacking, bought into this. And
first half of the year, the entire first half of the year.
It actually lasted for months and months and months. So glad that is no longer a conversation. Luckily, I don't think it actually harmed any of those players in the long term. And maybe in the short term, they got people harassing them, whatever, but that all dissipated. But in the end, I do have to agree with Flame. I think the best drama of the year is Tailspin leaving EnVyUS, and then EnVyUS finding the perfect replacement. I think that's probably one of the best storylines of the whole year, frankly, is like how EnVyUS like actually ended up benefiting from this roster swap. Frankly, it was a surprise. It was a shock roster swap, but it benefited them. And Tailspin left in a rather unceremonious way, and EnVyUS didn't miss a beat. In fact, they were better for it. So
yeah,
I think I got to go with that.
As good as the EnVyUS thing was, and obviously I've had my share of discussing drama over the years. I mean, it didn't get to the point where it was outright them just like, laying it down, just laying it all out there in front of everybody. So, I mean, there were little innuendos and jabs at each other, tiny ones, but for the most part, I think they held it, or at least they controlled their possible trashing of each other. So because of that, I think I'd have to go with Accusations. I think Accusations, it was the first thing that was, the first bit of drama in Overwatch, and it's a serious thing to talk about too. So I think that the fact that it's all worked out, it's been vindicated, and it doesn't matter that these players were vindicated either. I mean, if there were people that are actually hacking and they got caught, I mean, that would actually be a fine result too, in terms of me talking about the drama. But I think this was something that, like Ben said, we had a lot of the community like chiming in on it, and it was like very strong opinions and strong emotions, and it's very one-sided too, because it's hard for the other side to go and defend these people because of just how much, vitriol that's out there against, hackers. And totally understand too. We don't want cheaters. We definitely don't want cheaters in our community, and especially cheaters, winning these tournaments and really, devaluing these awesome events that a lot of people work hard in trying to organize and whatnot. But the accusation clearly is a huge thing, and it's been huge in any game. So like having us have to deal with it in Overwatch, I think was a pretty big thing.
Can we give an honorable mention to the drama around Esper? Like not him in particular, but like Twitch chat kicking Esper off the team, and like how every support for Energy kept getting kicked. Like every Mercy player was eventually kicked from the team.
And Tracer's butt.
No, Tracer's butt. That was okay. Tracer's butt might have gotten the most views and upvotes. I don't even know what it was like on Reddit, to be honest.
Coverage.
Yeah, coverage. Yeah. I mean, how many like mainstream gaming sites actually covered that?
All of them.
It was ridiculous.
Literally all of them.
Literally ridiculous. It's crazy. And then the same sites are trying to cover this whole Tracer's gay thing now, right? So it's.
I mean, I think, but back to what Jason's saying, I think Twitch chat's like actively trying to get a few more Energy people cut right now. So we'll see where that ends up.
I mean, but that's a team's fault if they're gonna be listening to Twitch chat. I mean, right? The whole Esper thing was ridiculous. It's like, yeah, he's dying over and over again. I mean, some of the times it was a bad place, but some of the times it's just like, what do you expect? I mean, they're just like diving on him, and he's having a hard time staying alive. But that has something to do with his teammates too, right? Trying to keep him alive. So it was that was definitely terrible. And I mean, you saw some of that with Reinforce too, right? Reinforce at was it Atlantic Showdown or whatever it was? Like we saw some of that, the same thing there, and that was like ridiculous too. So yeah, teams listening to Twitch chat, I mean, that's the team's fault if that's the case. That's kind of ridiculous.
I don't think any teams actually listen to Twitch chat.
Twitch chat will still, Twitch chat will still actively petition to get players.
And it's not really drama. It's not drama unless like people are actually listening to it. I don't, Twitch chat thinking whatever is not necessarily drama. Okay, well, that's the end. That's all the categories I had. You guys think of any kind of fun categories?
Worst player of the year.
Worst player of the year.
I want to give that to a special man up there. ZP and Hex both know who I'm talking about. It's got to be Super Cookie on his soldier play. If you haven't seen that video, just go.
Oh, I think I've seen this. Yeah.
Wait, which one was
soldier.
that?
If you would have actually pulled it up, ChanManV.
Which one was it? Link me.
So we can show.
Did you link me?
Let me go find it.
Yeah. Which one was that? Was that the one where he was missing, obviously, right? Like, I vaguely remember it.
Super Cookie highlights. All right.
I vaguely remember this. Is this a professional player?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say.
But it's hilarious. If you want to show it, I will not say no.
I will not say no. All right. Oh, this is actually from Atlantic Showdown, though. Okay. See this. Bringing it up. While we're bringing it up, are we really doing a category here? Let's see. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just show it. Just show the video. You don't actually need to like vote on it.
Looking for the fair, not able to land the tracking that he's looking for.
All right, let's go. Let's start it over again.
Here deals with this fairy here in just a moment. He's gonna come right back up.
Poor Super Cookie. I can't believe I'm there.
Looking for the fair, not able to land the tracking that he's looking for.
This looks
right
like
now.
this looks like me shooting.
Deal with the fair. Then you move on. Like, what's the next problem? Well, probably the Roadhog. Let's focus the Roadhog. So, at the very basics of just kind of
God,
coordinating a team,
this is
and
mean.
picking out which
You're just-
party you wanna
Exactly.
focus.
All right, that's enough. That's enough. This is literally like me shooting. This is like me playing Soldier right there.
Things I've ever seen.
Oh
I mean,
God, you
credit
guys.
to him because he was playing the tournament, but you know he missed a lot of shots.
Yeah, well, he definitely missed a lot of shots. That's true. Okay, well, I think that's it for the categories. So, I mean, great year for Overwatch. I think 2017 is going to be even better, even more things to talk about. I think the drama category will probably be upped by at least 2x from the things we can choose from. Blizzard's probably hoping. No, I hope that's not going to be the case, but that's just what happens. And actually, I do want to bring up one thing, and this doesn't necessarily have to do with Overwatch, but it potentially could, in the coming future. But there's a lot of stuff going on CSGO right now, which is the whole PEA thing. I don't know if you guys have been watching it, but maybe a lot of this will be resolved. Just CSGO really paving the way for it, and it's easy in Overwatch. But with the Overwatch League and with Blizzard actually running the league, I mean, will there even be that kind of discussion in the Overwatch scene? Because it's going to be more like LCS versus having this environment where we need a players association. I mean, they're dire need of a players association, I think, right now in CSGO. And we have players feeling like they don't have a say in what they can, which events that they can play in, and I don't know, just that whole bit, right? Do you guys see that happening in Overwatch soon?
I think there should be a players union in every game, but I don't think that the drama CSGO is going through will translate to Overwatch.
Well, it might just be solved by then. Like whatever happens in CSGO, we just ends up using the same model.
Yeah, it's like the problem with CSGO is that Valve just doesn't do anything. Like they're so hands off when it comes to CSGO because their hands are tied with Dota, and they don't have people doing CSGO. So like in reality, all this PEA drama could just be like instantly dissipated if Valve was just like, I'm not letting any of you guys license our game for tournaments. Like they could literally just shut down the entire drama by themselves, but they're not going to. So like I think that CSGO is creating like this weird ecosystem where the tournament organizers think that they have all the power. I mean, which I guess they do, or they're used to having all the power, but it's all because Valve is just kind of not involved at all.
Well, they're not creating a weird ecosystem. This is an ecosystem that all traditional sports have, where the game is, isn't owned by
traditional
anything.
sports, you have like the NFL. You don't have like the NFL and the AFL at the same time with teams playing the same thing. And like soccer has FIFA, like FIFA's in charge. MLS has MLS or whatever, but FIFA still overarches like the entire world, I guess. Like CSGO, everyone's trying to become that FIFA org right now, and
but you still have the Players Association, or Players Union Association, whatever you want to call it, that is a united front where they can strike, they can just not play. You know what I mean? Like whatever contract or not, they can just sit. And
yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think everything should have a Players Union, but I don't think the PEA drama has any implication on Overwatch's future.
Is, between the two, like CS is a completely different ecosystem than like League of Legends and Overwatch. I think Overwatch is more like League, where you're gonna have the league for it, right? And then the big problem that League had was when Riot was paying the organizations, like effectively paying the salaries, but the problem was the organizations would use that money for something else, would use it for like their CS team or their Dota team or whatever.
Yeah.
I think eventually we're going to get something like that as well, where I think Blizzard's going to be a little bit more hands-on, making the orgs pay the players the money and not taking the money for other different avenues that they want to go with. And there has to be something. There has to be something between like the players and Blizzard when it comes to this league that's coming up. Because the players have to be happy. Like the players make the league basically. And if like Siegel's like, I don't want to play in the league because they're not paying me any money and they're taking away all my rights, then you're going to get a lot of bad PR towards the league. So there has to be something that transitions like what the players need and want to Blizzard and vice versa.
But how does that work? Because the teams, the players are officially the team's employees, in a way. I don't know if they're a contractor or whatnot, like officially with these contracts, but let's just say they're employees of the teams. Then
I guess here's the way to look at it.
That's what's weird about.
Yeah, here's the way to look at it though. Like when Blizzard when Valve announces a Dota major, the players are never like, oh, I'm not playing in that. And like if ESL announced a Dota tournament the weekend of a major, then like nobody would even touch ESL, right? Like they would just be like, all right, I'm playing in this major. The problem with CS is that that's not a thing. Like they always license them out. All the majors are like licensed out to the tournament organizers, but they don't have like a very set system of how they do things in CS. Like Valve again doesn't touch it. So like you wouldn't run into that problem so much in Overwatch, because if Blizzard was like, okay, we're gonna have a league, like what player is gonna say, no, I don't want to play in that. I'd rather play in something else.
True.
And like that's kind of the same way the LCS operates. Like I don't think the LCS has this problem, because like the players already signed off contracts saying like, all right, we're gonna do it this way.
Well,
like,
the players also don't have an issue because Riot just won't let anybody else do any League of Legends tournaments. I mean, literally LCS is like the only thing out there. So I mean, it's a complete. I mean, Blizzard's gonna allow other people to do some tournaments. It's just they're going to expect that their league is the main storyline, main league for competitive Overwatch. So
and it will be.
Yeah, of course it will be.
They've made their plans very, very clear. Blizzard is going to establish the dominant force in Overwatch esports. They're going to control it. They're going to license it. So a lot of these issues, in theory, could be mitigated by Blizzard, but there still should be an independent players union, because Blizzard's, they have their own best interest in mind, not necessarily that of each individual player. I'm not saying that Blizzard couldn't do it, and maybe they'll have, in an ideal world, Blizzard is entirely aligned with all of the players' best interests, so you wouldn't necessarily need it, but just for protection, I think we need players unions. But not a single esport has a proper players union, and we're like, what, 5 years into the explosion of esports that began in 2011, 2012. And no one's even come close to making a good players union. So that shit's a ways off, and it's unfortunate. Like we could really use it by now.
Well, what's interesting is you guys are talking about Blizzard and the players, but there's a giant layer between the players and Blizzard, which are the teams. You know what I mean? So it isn't real. Like I don't think actually Blizzard should have something set up. It's more that the Players Association need to, make sure that when it comes from the players and the teams and that relationship and that rev share and all that stuff, that they're, that agreement, that whatever bargaining agreement, whatever you want to call it in whatever sport, is going to be fair and proper and represent the players in the best way. I don't think Blizzard's actually deals with the players. I mean, they need to obviously foresee that the teams are treating their players well. But
no, Blizzard's gonna have contracts with the teams with like expectations of the players, like lifestyles and shit. It's not like the league's gonna come out and players are not gonna be localized. Like it's not like FaZe is gonna have the luxury of being able to leave 3 people in Europe year round and stuff. And like I think the salaries will be controlled. I'm pretty sure that that was the whole point of the league, was to like take control of the orgs in some way, or at least like put stricter mandates on how the orgs treat the players.
Okay, like even salaries. Wow, that's
work, like against that though.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, but they wouldn't.
Think of like the draft. The original talk about the league was having a full draft. Every player was out of their contract, and organizations could draft you into the team, and you wouldn't really have a say.
Yeah,
you would just be put onto a team with people you don't like. And if that happens, then obviously the players will be pissed off. The thing is, if you're an org, let's say you're Cloud9 or EnVyUS, and you have the choice between releasing all your players out of their contracts and joining the league and getting your name as an organization out there, or say, no, we want to keep our players together, but now they can't play in the league. Obviously, the org is going to choose the league because it's beneficial to them than to choose the players.
Yeah.
So you need that medium ground to like facilitate, like, well, no, you can't just do this, or yeah, we can work on some way to make it, beneficial to everyone. I don't know. It can be really scary. Obviously, you would assume and hope Blizzard has the players' interests in mind, but I still have to say, look at LCS. Look what happened with Riot and the players, where they were supposed to be getting paid a certain amount, but the orgs were using the money for something else, and then the orgs were even paying some of the players in some of the teams. Like there's a lot of back pay that never got paid, or there's a lot of problems. There has to be something, and I agree with Ben that how has there not been something created yet? That's
a lot of the lawyers, man, and then you have to find a way to empower the group. Like that's another thing. Like you have to how do you convince the orgs? Like, all right, say like Blizzard comes in, they're like, oh, we're going to do a draft, whatever. You're going to pay your players $5,000 a month, blah, blah, blah. And then you have like billionaires like Elon Musk and Robert Kraft just buy out all the contracts for their team so that they can like free up their entire roster or whatever, which if you're an org owner, you don't care, right? Like you give up Mendo and Sherford, but you make a couple $1 million. Like that sounds good, right? So
yeah,
it's like, even if the players are like, no, it doesn't matter right now because they already signed all their contracts. Like you'd have to do it in this medium stage right now. Like that's the only time you could do it. And that's the problem with CSGO too, is like you would have to write into the contracts between the orgs and Blizzard that like the players are empowered through the union and like all this other shit. Like you can't just like create a union after the contracts are written, because at the end of the day, like if the players don't have a right of first refusal, then the orgs can just drop them whenever they want and like, okay, you're a player, congrats, you're in a union, but I just dropped your contract. Like, what are you gonna do? So it's like now or never, I think, for
it's tricky. It's definitely very tricky, and again, we can't really use what a lot of, I mean, we can look at what Riot's done, but we can't really use what traditional sports does because again, the IP is owned by the league owner. It's a completely different thing. So I don't know. Part of me wants Blizzard to police a little bit, but part of me, like, I think they should step back a little bit, just like definitely police the standpoint of how the teams are doing financially, but having to micro, exactly what each team is doing. I think that's where there's no point in having teams if that's the case. Like Blizzard should just own all the teams too. Like are we going that route? I kind of hope we're not going that route.
Definitely not.
Yeah. So I mean that's a bad thing if they're going to be going that far, and that's more like Riot, or going down more of a Riot standpoint. I think the brands should be able to do what they should do. Like they should be able to do whatever they want to do. I mean, if they want to, do what, say, like the Florida Marlins have done for a long time in baseball, which is just like, I mean, maybe they're away from that now, but for a long time they were just, they had no good players on their team. They were just trying to make, a few like just be positive, like profitable to a certain extent, and literally the fan base was just dissipating every single year, but they were still making some money. But it was easily probably the worst franchise in Major League Baseball. I think when things like that start happening, sure, I think Blizzard can come in and just like really see what's going on here. But in terms of like, you're gonna drop this guy? I don't know if you should drop this guy. Like NRG's gonna drop Seagull. I don't think you should drop Seagull, or anything like that. That would be crossing the line, I think, in terms of what they should be doing. But okay, well, anyways, we got some questions here. I want to do some quick shout outs though to the folks on iTunes that are listening to our podcast. We're obviously available on iTunes, and you guys have been doing a great job of obviously leaving us some feedback and leaving us 5-star ratings, because we're starting to go up some in the SEO on iTunes, which is great when people look for Overwatch podcasts. But a big quick shout out to Arcane Slaughter for leaving the last rating. And if you want to help out the show, want to help folks find the show easier, and you listen to this on iTunes, even if you don't listen to iTunes, if you have iTunes, you can go and leave us a nice review if you like the show. Helps a great deal, so that'd be awesome if you can. But we do have some questions, email questions from folks that have that watch the show a lot, and some other guys that have been trying to get their question in for a while now. But Ann Forrester asks, my question is about the quad tank meta. I hear people talking about the quad tank meta a lot, but I've been watching the MLG Vegas VOD, and it seems to me that although many teams will start out playing it safe with quad tank, the opposing team will often switch to more DPS, and then this will then force the team running quad tank to switch off quad and more into DPS mount an appropriate response. I've seen this multiple times, so I guess I'm wondering if we can really call it quad tank meta anymore, with Soldier, Pharah, Tracer, Reaper, at least Harry Hooks playing, seeing competitive play, seemingly making a lot of impact. More often. So the question is there really a quad tank meta right now? I mean, we saw it a time or two, right? I don't think there's been much of a quad tank meta. Flame, what do you think?
Well, triple tank has definitely been more dominant.
Yeah,
but
triple tank.
You have to realize that like there's ways to beat it, obviously, or like you can beat it by playing a specific way. But when it comes to like consistently good results, if you want to just play defense on most maps, you can generally just stall the card out with 4 tanks. Like that's one of the reasons why Fnatic I think did so well at what's it called at MLG, because Happy I think was probably one of the best players on Diva, like stalling out the cart. Like you could notice it. I mean, like obviously teams ran without Diva, but the ability to like abuse the tanks easily is what makes it strong. Like I mean, there's like obviously if you're running nano boosted Genji on Shadowburn and like you miss a sleep dart or an earth shatter, you just lose, right? But like that doesn't make the meta less tank heavy. So I don't know.
Okay, I mean, I guess the answer is that we don't really see quad that often, but when it does happen, it's, I mean, I don't know, it's effective. It's effective on defense.
I feel it's just so a triple tank isn't too different, but these tank heavy lineups are so reliant on Hog getting hooks, right?
That's the only
Otherwise,
way to
it's
get
very,
kills.
very difficult to get kills.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you do see quad tank working out, I feel like 9 out of 10 times it's because the Hog is hitting his hooks at least half, or at least 50, 60%. If you can do that, then it works. But I feel like if you can't, it's really difficult, even against like triple tank or 2 tank or 2-2-2 even. It's really difficult to make a lot of progress if you're not able to hit those hooks. That said, with a Diva, with a Roadhog, you're gonna bust down the enemy's Reinhardt shield really damn fast. So you will have a lot of opportunities to hit those hooks.
Yeah.
But if you can't, then you're kind of dead in the water.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, we got another question from Jay Duff. Oh, Jason, you got any comments on it?
No, it's fine.
All right. Jay Duffa, D-U-F. Hey, would you guys like to have the option to downvote maps when you play on competitive ladder, similar to the system we use in StarCraft 2? I personally dislike King of the Hill and would love to have options to remove at least 1 or 2 maps from my map pool. I don't know. What do you guys think? We talked about this like early on, like in Overwatch, and I mean,
it would be weird though. I mean, I don't know.
It's tough for competitive.
If you're queuing up
ladder.
with friends, like.
I think on quick play, definitely, I could totally see an option for quick play. In competitive, I don't know. It's a little skewed. You know what I mean? Like, let's just go overboard. Let's just say you could literally downvote every map except for 1. And then all of a sudden you're like, top 10 player just on 1 map. Is that really representative of how you should be, on the competitive ladder? I don't think so. So for me, with competitive ladder, I don't think you should. I don't think there should be like 30 maps though. But I don't think, eliminating 2 or 3 that we had on StarCraft 2 is going to be the right system either. What do you guys think?
I mean, I came from...
You run into like people banning CP every time. 2 CP.
Yeah.
Like everyone will say, no, we don't want 2 CP, and then it'll accumulate like the maps that people want the least, and then then you never play 2 CP, and then Blizzard never gets to fix the game mode because they don't have the data they need, kind of thing. I don't know. I think it's pretty slippery slope, but it also does like make Blizzard recognize this is the map that no one wants to play, so you need to change something about the map. Like there's ups and downsides to it.
I think you still get plenty of people playing 2 CPs. You just wouldn't get the probably top tier players playing it.
Ultimately, they just need to make all of the maps good. And
oh God,
I don't know. From my perspective, I'm not sure how everyone in chat and Flame and Jason and all you guys will feel about this. I feel like every map in the game is good, other than 2 CP. All of them are good. I like all of them. I actually like. People talk a lot of crap on Ilios. I think Ilios is fine. I like Ilios. I like all the King of the Hill maps. I like all the payload maps. It's just 2 CP that kind of gets on my nerves for a lot of the ties and the semi-random nature. So I think just make 2 CP better, and we don't need this at all.
Yeah, I mean, I came from TF2, and being the best TF2 player didn't mean you were like the best arena player. Like arena wasn't factored in like Koth maps. I mean, there was only like 1 Koth map that ever saw the light of day, and then like even payload was just not a thing. So I don't know that the game needs to span across 3 game modes in the longevity, like in the future. Like maybe we'll watch this VOD in 2018 and we'll be like, oh, remember when we used to play competitive 2 CP, and like it'll only be like some new game mode and payload or something. Like that'd be sick. Because I'm not really convinced that 2 CP can ever be competitive without like massive overhauls in terms of like being a better team and winning consistently on that. Like you could argue that the better team will come out on top on Koth most times, and even on payload, right? Like just from better play. But 2CP is like very, I mean, there's obviously issues with it, right? So I wouldn't mind a downvote button. But back to what you were saying before, ChanManV, about like being able to pick your maps in quick play, like that's something that I think this game is actually just missing, and it like tilts me to think about that. Like when you queue in this game, you actually can't choose your map.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, they said that the server browser's coming, but I want like a lot of functionality, right? Like I want to be able to join a server and say, okay, I want to play quick play on King's Row, and like that's it. I only want to play King's Row maybe for like an hour because I'm just trying to figure out stuff on King's Row, or maybe I just want to like figure out conch spots or like tracer jumps, like random shit like that. But you can't do that right now, and it limits, I think, my enjoyment sometimes because you wind up in a spot where, okay, I'm going to queue ranked, but you get Anubis 3 times in a row, and you're like, all right, well, that was fun. Like, I think that there's definitely some validity to the ability to choose the map that you get next, or just eliminate maps from being able to be played.
I think the worst is when a new map comes out and like you really want to play it. Like I really want to try it, and I don't have enough people to run a custom game with, and I just can't. I mean, it literally takes 10 tries before I finally get it. Like if Oasis came out today, and I wanted to play Oasis, I'd literally have to queue over and over and over until I freaking get the thing. And it would, I don't know, it'd be kind of painful to do that. So I think that at least with that function would be great. And like you said too, Flame, it's like, if we just want to play a certain map, then that'd be.
I would love community servers in this game, man. Like you have no idea.
That's coming.
TF2
apparently.
was literally made off community servers. I would like love to just buy.
Well, apparently it's coming
somewhere.
I guess
it's like, this is mine. Yeah, that's gonna change the game 100%, like for the better.
Well, the question is will there be mods too? Like, we'll be able to create our own maps and that sort of thing on those servers?
Hopefully, I mean, this game will be infinitely more successful in the long term the second that they release the map editor.
Really? Infinitely more successful?
Infinitely more. 100%. Like,
wow.
Look at every other FPS that's been successful in esports throughout all of FPS history. They've all had user-made maps.
They've had great mods. They've had like imagine if like 1v1 in this game was like the same way TF2 ran. Like people would play that shit all day. Like there's so many good things that you can do with this game. It's just they haven't been done yet. And I mean, it's obviously a manpower, time, and like priority thing. But if you let some people go at it, like you can make some really good stuff.
Yeah, might as well leverage the masses out there. That's why I've always wondered what the arcade's going to end up being. Maybe the arcade will end up being a bunch of user-made maps too, on top of just the community servers. All right, let's see. Last question here from Wayne Lim, and this is actually from a couple weeks ago. We didn't get a chance to ask. Do you guys think with shields being so accessible and cheap, now that maybe the next hero would have the shield breaking abilities, i.e. damage deals 1.5 times to shield portion of hit points?
You mean Roadhog or what?
That's true.
Or like Sombra.
Yeah,
EMP.
Sombra EMP kind of thing. Yeah, I don't think, having something specific to shield, I think would be not global enough for a character ability. We don't have that many abilities for the characters, so the characters need to affect every single character in which it can do. And I know Sombra can give everybody like the shields, and that's probably what he's talking about. But I don't know. I don't see that being a great ability. Jason, what do you think, man? You've been quiet.
The ability. I remember hearing from someone. I can't remember who the hell told me. But having a hero who can do like % max health damage or like damage based on max health.
Oh wow, yeah.
Would eliminate like tanks. Would help eliminate tanks and counter like a heavy tank meta even with Ana. But then it wouldn't make you that effective against heroes that have low HP pools. I think that could be something interesting. Like in League of Legends, that was a big turning point.
Yeah.
For like Vayne, who could do was like 7% max health every 3 hits, and then you have Blade of the Rune King, which add extra like % health damage. I don't know if it's too cancer though. I mean, that's pretty disgusting to have to be a Reinhardt player and to just get absolutely wrecked because, well, you can't do anything to that really. So, but that'd be, I don't know, interesting. There's a lot of different avenues they can still go with like ability types.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Reinhardt I don't think would be affected that bad as long as his shield didn't take that percentage damage. It was literally only hit points. I mean, I think it would be like Roadhog and Diva and those characters that would take it much worse. I think that's cool. I mean, I think later on when we have like more characters and you can have more specialists, you know, the ability to pick specialists like that, that could be an interesting ability. Anybody else? Anything specific to shields, you think?
I mean, I'd rather them rework shields. I don't really like the idea of armor and shields right now. I feel like they're kind of like, I don't know what the word is. They're not really armor and shields. They're just kind of
regenerative hit points.
Bonus
basically.
HP. Yeah, it's like, I feel like they could do a lot more with that and like make more heroes like obvious counters and give heroes other strengths based around shields. But
yeah. All right. Well, that's it for the questions. Thanks for all the folks that wrote in. Again, if you guys want to submit your question for next week, go ahead and do that at the overview at ChanManV.tv, and we'll be sure to read them out. That's going to be it, guys. It's almost 2 hours here. Great show. You guys have any big plans for New Year's coming up here before we do shout-outs? Anybody? Big plans this weekend?
I just got internet at my place, so back in Germany. So I'm probably playing a lot of Overwatch.
Congrats, Jason.
Yeah, it's only been since August, and I finally have internet at my place. But now my computer doesn't work, so we'll see how that one goes. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. I'm gonna be playing a lot of Overwatch, and
Nice.
finally get to do the show from home instead of having to go in the office at 10 p.m. at night.
That's cool. So head back home. That's cool. How about you guys? Anything? Ben, you're just
Going
on
to Tahoe.
vacation, right? Oh, going to Tahoe? All right.
I'm going to Tahoe. Gonna try to hit the slopes.
Cool. North or south?
About it. North Shore.
North Shore. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a popular
Yup.
place.
Also gonna try to get GM. Oh, it was 8 SR away, man. What the hell?
Dude, he was 8 SR
8
away, then
SR
I
away.
tuned in and I literally saw him lose like so many.
The last few days have been so rough.
Oh, man. It's tough.
So that's my plan for the next day before I leave I have like 1 day left before I leave for Tahoe. So
That's cool.
good luck. I might stream it. So if anyone wants to watch me struggle. can do that.
IRL skiing stream?
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
GoPro,
that'd be
let's go.
sick.
Let's do
I
it.
actually did that.
Did you?
Fun fact, just because Flame brought this up. The old Justin TV app, Justin TV Android app, back in 2011 had a live broadcast
Yeah, I
functionality.
remember.
I don't know why we got rid of it.
I know.
I
Seriously.
streamed myself skiing once.
Did you?
Unfortunately, the VOD is gone forever.
Okay,
but
wait. I figured this out though. I had this idea the other day.
You can
If you
do it
want to
now.
do it, just Skype your phone to your PC.
No,
and
you
then
can do it
remove-
easier nowadays. You can do it on
There's some apps.
live air.
I mean, I want to put it on Twitch though. I don't want like some.
No, you
weird-
can't put it on Twitch. Live Air has a like they use the Twitch API, so you just log into your Twitch. I couldn't log in because I had the double authentication thing, so I couldn't do it myself. But I know a lot of people have been using. I know Anna used it, and
Gunrun made a guide actually.
Yeah. It's easy to use, but I don't know
Anyway.
how you would connect like your GoPro to it or something like that. But yeah, you can at least tape it to your helmet and then just put your phone on it and
I
do
can't
it
wait to
that
see
way.
Ben falling on his face.
Are you good? You snowboard or you ski?
Snowboard. I'm not
Yeah.
that good. I'm mediocre.
Yeah, that's kind of like me. Flame, you're in Colorado, right?
Just like my
Yeah,
Overwatch
I'm in
skills.
Jersey.
Oh, you're in Jersey. That's right.
Colorado.
I don't know why I
Oh.
thought you were in Colorado. I keep thinking. All right. Well, yeah, I'll probably just be hanging out here. There's just like same New Year's party we go to every year, so probably doing that. But yeah, why don't we do some shout outs? Call it a week. Flame, you wanna start?
Yeah, I mean, shout outs to my stream. I mean, it's been a rough week of Overwatch. I'm not gonna lie. Like MLG has been pretty hard hitting, I think, because I got back and there hasn't been any good tournaments. There's been no matches. Like teams aren't scrimming.
It's called Christmas.
People aren't playing
dude.
ranked. It's kind of
holidays,
it's really rough.
man.
It's been a rough couple weeks. And I don't think it's going away until next week. So I guess shout out to everyone that's just been kind of grinding anyway. You know, like I've been doing
Yeah.
variety streaming all week. It's been really fun actually. But
That's
obviously
good.
my viewers take a hit, but I'm actually enjoying video games that I would have never played.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing during vacation. You can actually play something that's not Overwatch. Or for me, like not
If you need,
Overwatch
if you
or
need a
Hearthstone.
game, actually, if you need a 3-hour game, play.
Yeah.
It's called Inside. I didn't know what
Inside?
to expect. My viewers made me go play it, and like I almost threw up on my computer, but it was pretty sick. I mean, it's not actually disgusting, but it's kind of gross at the end. But it's a good game. I would recommend it. 10 out of 10.
Dude, play Gang Beasts if you guys got a few.
I have it, but you need friends.
Dude, it's so fun, man. Oh God, if I ever kill time like an hours with it, I just go and play that game. It's so fun. You guys ever played it? Jason, you played it? Oh, dude, we should totally battle royale it the four of
We
us.
should just do that next stream. Like instead of talking to Overwatch, we'll play Gyeonggi's.
Oh man, you know what I'm talking about though, right?
Yeah, we could turn into like a drinking game or something.
No? Oh, Jason, look up Gyeonggi's. It's like a
I'm not
fighting
allowed
wrestling.
to do streams anymore, so something to do with shaving my head on air.
What?
What?
What? Who's that?
How do none of you know what that is?
You're not allowed to stream anymore?
I'm not allowed to do drinking streams anymore.
Oh,
okay.
drinking streams. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because shave my head.
Yeah.
You shaved your head drunk on
Shaved your
stream?
head.
Yeah.
Britney Spears
29,000
style.
viewers. It was great.
29,000. Nice.
Yeah, but Phantom Lord was getting swatted, so he had 100K.
Yeah, but 29,000. You could have ran like 3 ads and made up for your haircut.
Could have bought a wig.
There was like every 5 subs or something, it was a shot because I had to turn it off from 1 sub to 1 shot because I drink a whole bottle of vodka that night.
Are you even allowed to do that anymore?
No. Well, yeah, technically, if you're not too drunk, like to harm yourself. Yeah.
I do not speak on behalf
Yeah,
of Twitch's
exactly.
moderation team.
True. I mean, I was
If
looking
you
at
get
the
banned, it's
comments,
not
so-
Ben's fault, dude.
I thought there were like some.
I'm not banned by Twitch.
I know.
It's more ESL saying, Jason, don't do that again.
I mean, we have IRL now. Anything goes, right? That's what that category is for.
Not
No
anything
comment, no.
goes. Not anything
comment.
goes. But all right,
Stream
Jason.
your-
Jason, want to do your? You want to do shout outs?
Shout outs to my parents. My dad just saw him walk in not too long ago.
Awesome.
For letting me do what I always do. I always give him a shout out every week. To you, ChanManV, for hosting the show. It's been. I haven't been on for all 39, but I've been on for like 15.
It's been a year.
Maybe, like half of them.
Yeah.
And we'll see how next year goes as well. It should be a pretty kick-ass year for Overwatch in general.
Ben.
Yeah, it's been a good year of the overview.
Yeah,
Thanks
it's been a
everyone
year.
for tuning in. Yeah, we were able to build up viewership a bit over the course of the year. So cheers to everybody who followed the channel and checks out the VODs and listens online. It's been fun doing it. Make sure to keep visiting the subreddit Competitive Overwatch. That's where all the good stuff happens. And yeah, I think I'm going to try and stream my last day of ranked either today or tomorrow. So shout outs to my stream viewers, which I don't have that many of, but I love every one of you.
Yeah, definitely go watch, guys. It's definitely a lot of fun watching him. Well, I didn't get a chance to see much of your successes, but I'm sure it is a lot of fun watching you win. You been playing Zarya mostly, or what? Or what do you?
I play a lot of different heroes this season. My most hours are Lucio, Zarya, but I'll play Diva, I'll play Winston, I'll play Ryan if I have to. I like playing DPS, but everyone just like insta-locks Soldier, and all I want to play is Pharah and Genji. But I play a little bit of Soldier, a little bit of Pharah, a little Genji.
Yeah,
I play a lot of shit, man.
Cool.
But yeah,
awesome. I'd round things out by saying, thanking 3 of you guys, obviously, for doing this show and many of the shows that we've been doing in the last few months. Ben, for like over a year now. I think we started this thing. Did we start it? I don't remember. Actually, I started this thing with Stir and I started this thing probably a year and something ago, and then I think we started up after that big break in the winter. Right? That big patch that I think it was off for a while, and then January. I forgot if we did one before then. But it's been roughly a year with just us doing this show. So it's been pleasure getting a chance to do the show with you this entire year. I think we've we've kind of been slow to grow, but we are definitely growing each week, which is awesome. And it has a lot to do with you guys that are watching and listening. So thank you to you guys too. Continue doing that. Continue spreading the word, just about our show and just us talking. And I expect a lot of awesome, and we've had great guests like throughout the year too. Thanks to all the players and like Nate and everybody, Kiki just being amazing, and everybody at Blizzard too. But this coming year should be, another great year of just guests and shows that we have lined up. I mean, Overwatch League is going to be amazing, I'm sure, and all the events too in the early season should be good. In the games updates, we can talk Overwatch forever, so that's going to be awesome. But anyways, that's going to be it, guys, for the overview. You can catch the VODs on youtube.com/ChanManV for this week or any week. There's a playlist there for you guys to check out, and you can find it on iTunes tomorrow. And I'm doing a show right after this. If you guys are interested, we're getting the Unfiltered boys together. I know a lot of people hyped about
Oh God,
that.
are you talking about P?
I know. We're just doing an end of the year thing. I'm sure that's going to come up. It should be interesting.
Okay.
You guys check that out in about an hour on this same channel. But until then, guys, for Flame, Jason Kaplan, Fishstix, and myself, ChanManV, we'll see you next week. Later.